Hi guys, welcome again to the Word of Life. Let's continue on the topic of acid, bases, and salt. We have actually defined acid as a chemical substance that, when dissolved in water, produces ozonium ion as the only positive ion, which I said that ozonium ion has a chemical formula of CHO plus. Okay, so we also gave some definitions of acid, which I told us that acid is defined by Bonsted and Lowry as an electron donor and base as an electron acceptor. I also went ahead by giving another definition from Arrhenius. Arrhenius said an acid is a substance that, when dissolved in water, produces hydrogen ion as the only positive ion. I also went ahead again and said that any substance that reacts with base to produce salt and water is also an acid. Okay, then acid is actually divided into two, which we said it is organic acid and inorganic acid. Then organic acid is actually a natural occurring acid that is gotten from the remains of plants and animals. Then inorganic acid are actually artificial acid that we can be produced in the laboratory artificially. Okay, so we also explained that organic acid are majorly non-corrosive. What do I mean? No matter how concentrated it can be, it cannot actually harm the skin. By concentration, we are talking about the water content of that acid. Okay, so if the acid has a smaller water content, we say that the acid is skunk acid. So, concentrated acid, organic acid cannot burn the skin. It is actually inorganic acid that can harm the skin. Then example of organic acid are, number one, we can have the citric acid, ascorbic acid, carboxylic acid, amino acid, okay, fatty acid. These are some of the organic acids, and no matter how concentrated they can be, they cannot actually harm the skin. And also, we went ahead by saying that acids has some characteristics. One of the characteristics is the taste. Acid has a sour taste. Okay, like the taste of an ripe orange or the taste of a lemon. Two, acid turns blue litmus paper to red. If you take a blue litmus paper and put it into an acid solution, it changes the color to red. Try to tell you that there is actually the presence of an acid there. Also, acid can also react with base to produce salt and water only. Again, acid has ionization properties. By ionization properties, we have strong acid and weak acid. Okay, then strong acid and weak acid is actually the classification based on its ionization properties. Then, by ionization properties, organic acid ionizes partially or incompletely in water, producing hydrogen ion as the only positive ion, while inorganic acid ionizes completely in water, produces hydrogen ion or ozonium ion as the only positive ion, together with its negative radical ion. Okay, so we are also going to forge ahead by listing some of the acid that we consume as food. Number one is the citric acid. The citric acid is actually gotten from the lemon. Okay, lemon. Then we have acetic acid. Acetic acid can be gotten from vinegar. People consume vinegar as well. Then we also have the metallic acid. Metallic acid can be gotten from apple, the apple we eat. Then we have the tartaric acid. The tartaric acid can be gotten from tamarind, okay, or grapes. Okay, you can get them there. Then we have ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid can be gotten from oranges. Okay, then we have carbonic acid. Carbonic acid can is acid that can dissolve in water. You can always got them from beverages. Okay, like when you drink some beverage drink. Okay, you can got that carbonic acid there. Then we have the phosphoric acid. The phosphoric acid can be gotten from colas or soft drink. Okay, that is where you are getting this phosphoric acid from. So the next time we are going to meet, we are going to talk about base. Okay, basis and its characteristics as well. So do follow me if you're not actually following me. Before, share it with your friends who would be willing to learn, and also comment your thoughts on the comment section. I will be reading it for myself. See you in the next video.